My main thing that God's been teaching me for 20 years of parenting is not unique to me, but probably unique how slow I learned it is looking to him, abiding in him instead of to my husband. There, and that's not to say my husband isn't awesome, but it's to say that there were things I was looking for Dallas to make me feel that God was like, I have that for you right here, perfectly cooked and done. Like you're looking to somebody else who's in process and learning the same thing, really. So I think it was much, much harder when my kids were younger because I felt more needy than I think I do now, in an internal way, if that makes sense. I love Dallas and I need Dallas, but I'm not needy the way that I was, if that makes sense. And that's just come from like, I have a different thing with the Lord than I had when my kids were little. And so I think it would have made parenting easier a long time ago. But of course, that's probably how we all learn it. You know, we have to learn it through the practice of putting it in the wrong place and then learning how to put it in the right place. So I would say that's a number one thing for me, is abiding. And also to just, I would get upset about the principle of things when I was younger. So like, I would actually be okay, but it would be like, but you shouldn't be doing it that way. And so I would almost get myself worked up over principles versus Dallas was actually really good about that. He's like, are you actually upset about what's happening? Or are you upset about the idea of what's happening? Which was an interesting distinction for me because I'm I'm a principle fighter sometimes when it's totally unnecessary. So I'd be like, oh, I'm actually fine. So yeah, you go do that thing because I'm actually enjoying this other thing. I just was getting worked up about the principle of the thing. And I've let a lot of that go too. So I think as you get older and you're like, meh, you kind of learn that a little bit over the right things. I don't ever think you should meh important things. I think you should have standards and priorities that are right. But meh has been a welcome vibe in my life. I'm like, I'm fine. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Pick your battles.
Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Pick your battles. Pick your battles and actually don't be upset about all the things. Like, just calm down. Like,
That's a
I'm
lesson
calm
you
down.
really needed to learn with The Chosen on the horizon, huh? A few years ago.
Oh
You
yeah.
didn't even know
Yeah.
how much you would need that lesson.
No, and it's so genuinely now implanted. Like we genuinely don't get that upset about most of what goes on. There's an immense amount of pressure to steward things well, and that matters. And we're really intentional about that. And we don't have a laid back attitude about stewarding it. But as far as just the rocking of the waves and all, it's like you really do just get used to that. And you just don't get overworked about a lot, things that I feel really like almost like a different person from who I was in my 20s to how I respond to things, how I respond to stress, how I respond to criticism, how I respond to praise. All of it is just like flipped, thankfully,
Mm-hmm.
in the best ways.
All right. So flipping the question forward, what do you hope will be your vibe in, I don't know, 10 years?
Gosh.
What are you hoping to grow into? What are you looking forward to maybe shedding along the way? What's something you're carrying? You're like, yeah, I wish I wasn't
Yeah.
carrying that.
Um, I remain pretty terrible at resting.
Mm.
Um, so I've thought about that quite a bit. Like I really do want to get better at like being present in the moment that I'm in and resting, like learning, just continuing to learn how to do that. If I sit for very long at all, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. which creates an energy for other people too. It doesn't give other people permission to rest. So I do want to have a house that my kids feel they want to come back to, and that feels peaceful and restful. And for sure, we have a house that is fun and energetic, and let's go do, and we're gonna blah blah blah. But I don't know that everybody feels like, oh, I want more of that. So that's a goal. That's a goal for us, to be more restful.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and Dallas doesn't seem, from what I can see, like the kind of person who rests very easily either. So maybe the two of you together is something that sounds like such a lofty, beautiful goal.
Yes, he is better at resting when he has a moment to. He's always been better at recreation than I am. He's good at that. He just doesn't actually have any time. So I think we have to like manhandle some rest in our life. We need to learn how to grab it and force it into our life. But when it comes to, if he's actually created the space and he can get a real break. No, he's pretty good at sitting and resting.
Well, that's, it's.
And now, a brief message from Gospel Spice.
Has Gospel Spice been a blessing to you? If so, would you partner with us to help inspire our generation to delight in God by paying Gospel Spice forward? Our goal is to continue providing in-depth, high-quality, free Bible resources for all. We need your financial support to keep this going. Please pay it forward today by making a tax-deductible donation at gospelspice.com/donate.